Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, Steve Arterburn here, and we are so glad that you are with us right here today. Joining me, Milan Yerkovich and Dr. Jill Hubbard. How you guys doing?
I am well,
Doing well.
It is always a pleasure to be with Jill and Steve.
Yes. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Here we are again.
Okay,
Ta-da.
so the last time we were together, I made a couple of mistakes. Now,
You?
Steve, Jill
Really?
made a mistake.
Steve?
Oh my gosh.
well, first of all, some people would say, you make a lot of mistakes, so what's new about this? But no, I made a mistake, and here's what I would love to say. Oh, I was having a bad day. Actually, I was having a very good day when I made the mistake, so I can't write it off to a bad day. I'd like to say, well, I was just under-medicated. No, I was right there, but I made a couple of mistakes, and it had to do with, two things. First, COVID. I quoted someone who said that if you've had COVID, you are 27 times more immune than if you get the vaccine. And I had a wonderful email from someone who absolutely knows what she's talking about. And she pointed out, which is absolutely true, that no, immunity is different. If you were morbidly obese, if you were a diabetic who was morbidly obese with a heart condition, you wouldn't have the same immunity level whether you survived COVID or not. And so I just want to take that back. And usually, they tell you don't go back and correct your mistakes, but this needs to be corrected. Okay, so in that same call, the woman said she was going to declare a religious exemption or ask what we thought about religious exemption. And, I just kind of went with it, said that'd be okay, I think. I don't know. I haven't gone back to hear the show. But anyway, I want to make the point that you shouldn't use God as an excuse for anything unless that is truly the basis of the exemption. So I regret that I did this, and now you know what it's like for my wife to live with me. I make mistakes all the time, but I did want to, because people's health and also what they do is important with matters of faith, and I really felt convicted and wanted to share that. And I'm not apologizing so that I'll look good for apologizing. I absolutely wish that I had a do-over on that program, but I
and
don't.
Steve, I think we did say that it needed to be sincere, right?
Yeah.
That absolutely. We don't use God.
But
it
I
needs
didn't
to
clarify.
Be sincere.
I didn't clarify.
Well,
enough.
Right, and
And
it's
go
one
ahead.
of the options that they offer. And I remember this call for this person, it might not have been her number one reason, but it seemed like it was one of the reasons. And so we were talking about that.
Well, I just don't want you to take back my apology. So
I'm not.
Yeah.
Apologize
but anyway,
away.
yeah, thank you. Anyway, I hope that is heard by as many people as heard the mistake. And now that I've said that, if you think that I need to experience more shame, then that's about you and not about me. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come right back. This is we're doing all these programs during satellite outage, and we'll also be doing that for a while. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Yeah, that's what you can do. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. No, wait. That's what you call for our book that we're offering. But to be on the radio program, it's 1-800-229-3000. When I confess, and it's so rare, I get confused, I guess. 1-800-229-3000. That
flustered.
is the phone number to call. We'll take a break and come right back after this. I've got some things I want to share with you, too.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, October 15th to the 17th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, 1-800-229-3000. We're only taking calls if your name rhymes with your town. Here's Sabrina from West Covina. Hi, Sabrina from West Covina, listening on KKLA. How are you today?
I'm okay, thank you.
That was good.
Good. How could we help?
I have a 25-year-old daughter living in our home. It's just my husband and I and her. She's going to school. She's working. And I'm not, I don't condone her lifestyle. She takes off for weekends to be with her boyfriend. It's not a secret that she smokes marijuana, or I don't know exactly what form, but so I know I need to have a conversation with her. She knows how I feel about it. I just have not enforced anything. So.
Okay, so the question for us would be what?
I guess more like what words to use to let her know that it's not okay for her to do what she's doing while she's living in our home. Because I know I've heard you say many times, in essence, we're supporting that lifestyle by allowing it. I don't require her to pay rent because she is going to school.
Well, it sounds like to me you kind of know a response, which would be that, that we are kind of paying for this. You're using money for marijuana that you might have to use for personal expenses and stuff. You know that we've said that before, but you're saying, and everybody has that fatal excuse for not doing something. We find it, and you're saying, well, she goes to school, so we are gonna fund marijuana purchases because she's going to school, and it's really hard. It's really hard to see it any other way. But you've called us. Let's see what Jill and Milan are thinking here, because this is one of those horribly tough situations.
It is tough, Sabrina. She's 25 now, so you're not dealing with a 17-year-old in your home. It sounds like you do have a stance. I think it's important first to really know what your stance is, and then to be aware that if your stance is, this is not allowed in my home. And I don't know, is she smoking in the home or just when she goes away for the weekends?
I'm sure she is. I don't smell it like I used to, because I think because of the farm that they have.
Yeah,
I don't know, like
oils
oils or something.
Yeah,
I used to smell it in the past, and of course I said, oh no, you can't, not in this home. So I think they've used other forms now.
Okay, so
but I have
if you're going to take the stance, not in my home, you have to be prepared for the potential of her saying, okay, well then I'll leave your home. I'll go live with boyfriend, I'll go somewhere else. Okay? So you just have to be prepared if you take that stance. I think with a young adult, sometimes we need to start to approach things differently. I think you want to, and at all age, you want to engage their thinking about things. And you want to understand first, before you kind of come in as the authoritarian parent and say, this is the way it is here, especially with a 25-year-old. And certainly at 25, it's a privilege to be living in your home at this point, right? But to be asking her, the fact that she knows how you guys think, right? She knows about your lack of approval of these things. What is she thinking about these things? How does she see it going for herself long term, right? How does she see these things helping her get what she wants, right? And that even though you disagree, you really want to understand what's gone into her choice. And has it been a choice? Has she thought it through? Or is it just, well, this works for me today? Or is it, well, I'm so anxious, Mom, I just don't know what else to do. Or I can't sleep. Or my boyfriend does it, so I just end up doing it with him. Like, you don't even know where her struggle might have been with this and what led her to just give way and surrender to it. And so I think some of those conversations are important.
We have talked about it. And she said, and she was very mature about like the conversation. Said she thinks it helps her because she does get anxiety. And I said, well, you might want to use other methods of dealing with your anxiety than to be dependent on that. And she even went so far as said, well, I would recommend it for you. She said, it's not really that bad. And you might be surprised that, it might be helpful for you. So we have talked about it. And it isn't
exactly like just going down to the pharmacist and, and it's not FDA certified unless I guess, it's from a clinic or something. So I do think, as we've said before, that smoking pot is a symptom. And she said to you, it is a symptom that there is something there that she needs to deal with in a different way than something that really can mess up your brain and cause you, early forming brains, even into the early 20s, to not function the way you would have functioned if you hadn't been smoking marijuana. I've got a book I'll send you. I want to hear from Milan, but we have a book, Understanding and Loving Your Child Who Smokes Pot. Write what you need. I think you're going to like it. Milan, what are your thoughts here?
Well, Sabrina, I respect your dilemma. It's really difficult, and you're trying to love your daughter and provide a home for her, and you're respecting that she is working and going to school, which is really great. But I agree with Jill on her precise way she went about answering the question. You have two choices. One is to ask a lot of questions and get her background on all of this, including, is she prepared for pregnancy? Because that's another factor. She's, with her boyfriend a lot, and she is anxious. She might just do whatever he says, and she's worried about losing him. And we don't know her levels of angst about all of these things. And what's interesting is that many people who are anxious have turned to marijuana because it takes anxiety away. It's a central nervous system depressant. And it's just like alcohol. It takes anxiety away. And a lot of people have gone that route. And so I would really want to know how anxious she is. How long has she been anxious and the depths of it? I can tell you from firsthand experience that an antidepressant, the types that allow serotonin to increase in your brain, are very helpful to alleviate anxiety. And so there's an alternative there. If she's going to use something, the point is she's using something. Why not use something that also has a profound effect on helping you all the time, not just when you smoke pot.
And doesn't have some of the side effects
yes,
that
absolutely.
pot would have. And so Milan, you're really talking about why don't you address the anxiety?
Exactly.
Right?
And then,
Instead of focusing on whether she does or doesn't smoke pot.
right.
First.
Focusing really on that, as you and Steve have said. The second thing you have, I said you have two choices to do that. And then the other one is to do that plus add boundaries. If you choose to say, well, we won't allow that in the home, then you have to be prepared for the consequences that will bring. Her protest or her, as Jill said, moving out, moving in with her boyfriend. And these are adult choices, and they're very hard. So I would really agree with Jill. Start with the first one, which is to ask a lot of questions, ask her about her sexuality, all those kinds of things, because you don't need her to be pressured to have an abortion here or have an unplanned pregnancy. None of those would be good for her either. Those will only increase her anxiety.
Right. And knowing that parents didn't raise her this way or don't agree, how is she making sense of that?
Okay, so
right?
here's my last point. What does she think of God in all this?
Yes, exactly.
Where does God fit in? Where does the gospel come in? Where does Christ come in? Where does being saved come in? Where does obedience
what do you think
come
she
in?
answered? Yeah, what do you think is her answer to that?
She's kind of walked away from that.
Yeah.
Which is what pot does. Because where is God when you're smoking pot?
She hasn't gone to church in years. So, she's just.
So
she does believe in God, and she is Christian, but has not been walking with God.
I would start all over again with the gospel and just say, I really want you to understand as a young adult. See, when you're a child, you can make a profession of faith, and it can be significant. But it's important now that she's 25 to say, okay, let's readdress the gospel. Does it mean anything?
Well, and it shouldn't be tied to the rules, like you don't sleep with your boyfriend, you don't smoke pot.
Absolutely right. It's
right?
just, I want to start over again with the basics here.
But a lot of times they think that, right? I'm doing this, so I have to move away from God. And if they draw near to God, then those things often become less important.
That's right.
Well, we appreciate you wanting some advice. It's very, very tough dealing with this. I hope something that we've said has helped. I do believe that this book is going to help you even more, and anybody can get it. Understanding and Loving Your Child Who Smokes Pot. It's right there. We're doing a series, and we've got the first two books. The other one is Understanding and Loving Your Child Who Has ADHD, which is really kind of challenging sometimes to love and understand. But that's going to come your way. 1-800-229-3000. Let's go to Amon, Pensacola, Florida. WEGS is the station. Hey, Amon, how are you? Hello? Are you there? Maybe not.
Sounds like they're trying.
Okay. Hello? All right, we'll try you again. So just hang on there. And how about we take a call here from Bobby. Bobby from Tallahassee, Florida. Hi, Bobby.
Hi. Thank you so much
You're welcome.
for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is I'm having to go to a meeting with our 28-year-old son that's living with his fiancée and her fiancée's mother. They've been living together for 2 years, and I can't seem to talk to him face to face. We can't seem to get together because he's always busy, or she's got something planned, as he says, or he's working a lot of hours. They're getting married next year. And I've been accused of saying I don't want them to get married. I'm like the big bad woman, the bad woman. On anything and everything. And
yeah, what's the question for us then?
The question is I'm nervous about going to this meeting. Just get together.
What's the purpose of the meeting?
Purpose is to get things straight face to face, because everything seems to go through text. Text this, text that, text this, text that. And the mother-in-law, the future mother-in-law that he's living with, she's been sending me texts instead of calling me, that he's upset, that he's not eating, that, I'm causing more problems than I'm helping, just wanted to let you know, and stuff. And it's like, can't somebody call, pick up the phone? And it's like, no, that isn't how we do that.
Okay.
And so
we're going to take a break.
Face.
All right. I'm glad you are. We'll take a break. We'll come right back, and we'll go and we'll try to give you some, we'll talk about you on the break and try to give you some help here. You're listening to New Life Live. Glad you're with us here today. Hope something we say is helpful. And if you need a great resource, we're just coming to the end of offering Dave Stoops' book, Living Well, Finishing Strong, the last book that Dave wrote. And what a great book it is, because he did it. He was able to do it. He did. Jill's holding it up. He lived very well and finished very strong. But we'll take a break. We'll come right back for more of New Life Live right after this.
I have a 15-year-old. She is very defiant, rude, and disrespectful to me.
Children don't come with a set of instructions, so what's a parent to do?
She has very intense screaming fits.
Do you feel equipped to tackle the tough decisions and issues that can have a lifelong impact on your kids?
I have a 11-year-old daughter, and I'm trying to help her with the situation regarding school.
Are your children ready to thrive in this culture?
I just feel like I'm at the end of my rope with her.
Let New Life's online one-day workshop, Fearless Parenting, Preparing for the Teen Years, help. It's Saturday, October 2nd. You'll learn about bullying, discipline, boundaries, challenges in parenting, smartphones, social media, and screen time, how your own struggles affect how you parent, and much more. With insightful teaching and the guidance of a credentialed New Life counselor, this one-day workshop can equip you to meet the challenges of raising children in the 21st century. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. And what we have on our hands here is what some people would call a dilemma. Bobby, well, she has a son living with his fiance's mother and the fiance. That's tough. That is really, really tough. Going to a meeting and now needs some help with getting to that meeting and making the best of it. So,
well, I'm glad that you have a meeting, Bobby. I'm sure you're very anxious about it, but I think the face-to-face is really important because you're right. Texting is wonderful, but sometimes things get lost. You don't know the emotion behind it, the intent, where to put the emphasis. And so it sounds like in just sticking to the texting alone, there's a lot of splitting happening here, where the mom they're living with is the good one and now you're the bad one. And it's easy to vilify people when you have them at a distance and to blame, right? So I think you need to enter that circle and have a lot of prayer support around you as you do so.
Bobby, I would agree with Jill. This is a very difficult thing to walk into, but it is the answer to your question. Why can't we really talk about this face to face? And I don't know what's happened. I think I heard you say earlier that he's been with her for 2 years. So you've got a family system over there where your son is now settled into a family system that's different than yours. And then triangulation has taken place and you've been pushed outside, and it's a horrible place to be. So I agree with Jill. A personal conversation is going to be great. I have 2 recommendations for that. Jill said prayer, and that's really important. So I'll make it 3 because I'm going to use yours, prayer. Number 2, take someone with you that you consider to be wise. Not somebody that is a good debater and not somebody who's a lawyer, but somebody who's wise and knows how to listen. And number 3, ask lots of questions. Just ask, what happened? What's going on? How have I hurt you? This morning, Bobby, I said to my wife, when I say so-and-so and it bothers you, how does that make you feel? And what can I say different? Because I don't want to do that again. So I had to ask, what's it like to feel me, at a certain level? And what do I make you feel like? So we have to do this. All relationships need to have repairs. And so to just say, I'm kind of in the dark. I really don't know what's going on. And then, Bobby, you also have to be prepared to face the history that you've had with your son. I don't know what is in that history, and we certainly don't have time to talk about it, but
there's unresolved stuff there.
But there very much can be unresolved stuff. And I have had conversations with all my kids who are now in their 40s, one's in their 30s, 3 in their 40s. And I've had talks with them, and I'd say, what's unrepaired with us? What still hurts from the past that we can talk about?
Well, here's a headline.
And that's just important to do that.
I think a headline here is, the meeting needs to happen, and I tell people this all the time. You must become a real live person to the one who's kind of got you off to the side and being critical or is more enmeshed with the person that you are concerned about. You have to become a person to them. And when you do, it may not change anything, but I think it's really important that we ask, does this human being even consider me as another human being in this world, trying to raise a child the best I possibly can? And I think that might be the only good thing that comes out of that meeting, but hopefully it will. Anything else we want to share with her about a tough dilemma?
Well, ultimately, the Bible says that there is supposed to be a leaving and a cleaving. That's old King James talk. But what it means is I am supposed to sever my relationship with my parents. It's a word to sever, to cut, to like cutting an umbilical cord. And then I'm to bond to a new individual, my spouse, and I'm to create a new family. And a lot of times that doesn't happen when people get married. They're still tied to the parents at a very high level, which means they can't be fully present in their marriage. And this is one, and either it's because of the young person, the child, the grown-up child now, because they're still dependent upon the parent, or the parent is dependent upon the child, the adult child. It can work both ways to hold a control into the adult daughter's life or the adult son's life. And learning to break away is one of the biggest challenges of adulting, so that we are our own unit. And a lot of families never achieve that because one of the parents remains so dominant that the kids can't feel like they can escape the gravitational pull.
Right. And I think also for Bobby, being the mother of a son, Bobby, you need to recognize that sons, as sons grow up, mom and sister are like number 1 and 2. And when they attach to a romantic partner, that new female takes that number 1 spot. And so you have to recognize that your place, in a sense, has been taken. And now you have to, like you were saying, let go as well. And don't expect to be in the number 1 spot. And recognize that he's going to organize around her. That doesn't mean, however, you're completely left out. You still do have a role.
Man, that's rough not to be in the number 1 spot.
It is. It is rough.
Well, that's why we tell people being a parent is amazing. But you have to prepare to be something other than a parent in your life, because it's going to end one day. And if you're not preparing for that, you may try to keep them very, very close by. We'll be back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, and I looked up, and wow, Larry Sonnenberg is in the studio right now. And Larry always have good things. Well, at one time he didn't, but usually you have something really good for us, and we're ready to hear it today. What is it?
Yeah, well, it's another testimony, Steve. Just
right.
reminding people why we need their support and what their support means to people.
Okay.
As a young mother of a blended family with 5 children, I was lost. I discovered a great program on the radio. At the time, it was Minirth and Meyer, but after a time became this new program, New Life Live. I listened daily over the years. My heart began to open to concepts about Christ and His love for me. The boys became the voice of a loving father, a caring brother, encouraging, directing, most of all accepting everyone who called in. I knew they would accept me, someone who had been verbally, sexually, physically, emotionally abused. Me, the person who was disposable. They wouldn't look at me that way. I was accepted. I read as many books as possible, and I attended a Lose It for Life, where I chose life over suicide. Then came Dr. Jill, a mother's voice over the waves. Not demanding, not withdrawing love, but wanting the best for the callers. I felt that caring for myself. Because of others sharing their situations on the show, I was prepared with a plan when I discovered my husband's infidelity. I insisted he attend every man's battle, and he did. It was the turning point in our marriage. I'm having the best life, not perfect, but full. Thank you all at New Life. I wouldn't be here without you. That covers everything.
That's really amazing.
That covers everything. You know, thinking of suicide, husband betraying her, just the radio program, counseling, it's just over and over.
Yeah.
And folks, that's what happens when you engage with us. It can happen to you too. So thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting.
Well, it's such a joy to hear stories like this. Somebody that was helped, continuing to be helped, but that, 15 years ago.
Yeah, long time
we were
listener.
doing this. Well, we were doing this 33 years ago and helping folks. And if you need some help, we want to help you. But if you can help somebody get the help, then you become part of the New Life Giving family. And then every person that experiences transformation, you're part of that. You are absolutely part of it and the reason that it's happening. We've always had folks come alongside and support us. And if you can do that, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and I will send you Dave Stoops' last book, Living Well, Finishing Strong, our gift to you. Anything else you have to say there, Larry?
I just want to challenge that one person, I think there's probably more than one, that is thinking, I've never given before, now's the time. So pick up the phone and give us a call. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, Larry, what I'm impressed with that testimony, she didn't just listen to the show once or twice. She became a part of the family. Yeah. And she listened frequently so she could get used to your voice, Jill, and the voice of other people. And then they chose to get active and go to a workshop, go to a seminar, and so they could actually meet people and get involved and understand that there were real people here. And that was just a beautiful story.
And she became a Club New Life member.
Isn't that great?
So thank you.
Thank you, Larry. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you can help us, let's go to Mandy, Rhode Island. She listens online. Hi, Mandy. How are you today, and how can we help?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's going on?
Yes. So I heard your last broadcast with Ann.
Mm-hmm.
And Baylor, yes.
And I was, it was good to hear her share her story because, like, right before I listened to her, I was actually thinking about some people that I've trusted in the ministry that I felt like have let me down. And for me, I feel like it had a lot to do with the occult. I've been going through a year and a half of hell. It's so funny how she mentioned, she called the pastor the beast.
Yeah, she did.
And my thing is, like, I feel like, not feel, but what I've been going through, like, worries me because I keep believing that I have taken the mark of the beast because I went along with certain people. I don't know. But,
well, what? Tell us what you're referring to. Why would you think you've taken on the mark of the beast? That sounds like that you feel like you can't get back into the grace of God and the relationship with God. That's something you crossed a line or something like that, or something's been done to you. What are you thinking there? Tell us.
Yeah, well, for one, I just, I was just going through a lot of, like, abnormal things that I couldn't explain. I was at a church and I was sharing a lot of, like, what I was going through in my marriage and things like that. And I started feeling, I was questioning, like, whether I was in the right, I don't know, kind of like I felt like I was wandering off into, like, false, I don't know, sort of like maybe false Christianity or something, like false.
Okay.
So it sounds like it started to get confusing, Mandy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard.
It started to get confusing, and I came to a point where I just wanted to just not go to church because I didn't know.
And you were having a hard time trusting.
Yeah. Well, Mandy, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Who is the person that you're closest to that you trust, that knows you inside out, backwards and forwards? Who's that person for you? I have been really isolated because my family, they don't
understand.
Okay. Now let me talk to you for a second, because I thought that was going to be your answer, isolation. And I believe you're going to continue to struggle until you decide I must not stay isolated, no matter how my family feels or what they do. Isolation is broken when you sit down with a women's ministry leader, when you go to a women's Bible study, when you see what the support groups are at a church, a recovery group, a life recovery group, places where you can be with other people and not be isolated, hearing things that are good and healthy, not always focused on the downside or always focused on everything is a threat. Jill, Milan, you have anything you want to say to her?
Mandy, do you have a history prior to this of being hurt by other people or abused by other people or taken advantage of by other people?
Yeah, this is why I called, because honestly, I feel like God. Okay, so I was dealing with that. I was really hurt by. I was feeling like I couldn't get over my trauma. And I went to the pastor because I felt like I felt pressure from God to forgive, but I felt like I couldn't do it quickly enough, and that he shut the door.
Oh.
That he shut the door of grace because
So Mandy,
Mandy,
just a moment. Let me ask you a question. Have you felt like other people have shut the door on you earlier in your life, have closed you out?
I feel like I've been, I feel like I've been hurt by every person.
What about as a little girl? What about as a child or as an adolescent?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so stop
That's
right there. Okay. So what we know, Mandy, is you've been traumatized, and when we have a traumatized background, we're very susceptible to being victimized by other people. We struggle to know who we are. We are easily confused. And we have a difficult time representing ourselves. We have a hard time thinking through things clearly. And it's not your fault, Mandy. I wish I could see you and give you a big hug and tell you it's not your fault. Somebody else is responsible for causing this trauma in you. And there are people who specialize in trauma, and many pastors don't have training in that. We'll be right back.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we just want to give some hope here. Jill, what do you think is the best path?
A couple of things. First, Mandy, I want to just reassure you that you do not have the mark of the beast because it's not out yet. Nobody has that yet. Okay, and you know, Satan tends to isolate us, and we get really distorted, as do people who victimize. They tend to isolate us, and we get really distorted. And so, Mandy, I know that you have gone to a pastor for help, but as Milan was saying, they aren't trained in trauma. They may be sincerely wanting to help, but they are limited in what they can offer. And when you have had multiple traumas, and that's what we're hearing, a lot of people have hurt you, you need to be with somebody who's trained in that area, someone that works with people who have had multiple traumas, and get into a therapeutic relationship where they where you can develop a trust with them. And there are appropriate boundaries in that relationship, and they can help walk you through this, as well as maybe recommend some trauma groups and things like that to help hold you and help you not only process the trauma, but come to a better sense of who you are.
Very good. All right, I'm going to send you a copy of let me send you a copy of this book by Dr. Dave Stoop, Living Well and Finishing Strong, and I hope that that's going to be of help to you. And I'll also send you Milan Kay's book, How We Love. I think you'll get some insight from that. Now, let's see if Armand is back with us or not. Try one more time here. Armand, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
Great. How can we help you today?
Yes, well, I just want to tell you that thank you for all what you do. You have helped me and my family and a lot of friends. We're New Life supportive, and we listen, and every time we hear something, we share with other people, and it's been a blessing for everybody
thank
in
you.
this community.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I have a question. I have my son. He's 15-year-old, and it's been a year and a half now that we have noticed that he's texting, girls, letting him know that he also is attracted to girls and boys. And then we finally talked to him, and he let Mom and I, he let us know that he's attracted to boys and girls. And I asked him if he wanted help, and I said yes. He said he wanted help, and I said, well, I'm going to see what I can do to get that help, because I know there's a lot of help and there's a lot of hope. So I got to call my friend from New Life. So that's what I'm doing.
All right. Well, Jill, let's start with you. When you hear about attraction, what do you think is a first step?
Well,
for Dad?
I'm really glad, one, that he shared it with you, and two, that he's asking for help. So again, like with most things, you really want to understand what he's thinking about this, when this comes up for him, and are there any hurts that you don't know about? Has anything happened to him in life that caused him to start to have these feelings, to start to think this way? And a lot of times you will find that it's rooted back in maybe an experience in childhood where they drew a wrong conclusion. Right? Sometimes it's kids that have been molested by a boy and their body reacts, right? And our body is made in such a way that it reacts to stimulation, even when it's wrong stimulation. And so kids draw conclusions. Or the fact that young kids, our first love relationships are same sex. We love our best friends. But if that gets sexualized, right, then that takes us down a wrong path. And so I think it's really important that you keep the communication open with you, that you spend a lot of time with him, and that perhaps the two of you go together to a therapist and request what you're wanting to work on. If you request what you're wanting, therapists can help. They can't necessarily recommend this kind of help, but they can respond.
Yes, we actually did that about 4 months ago. But he at that time he didn't. He said he was joking. He told the therapist he was joking. We were there together, and he told us that he was just joking about that. But then now that we saw some thing in his phone, so we talked to him again, and now we know that he's not joking.
Yeah,
so then that's
Milan, I want to hear from Milan real quick before we have to go. Milan, your thoughts here?
Well, I agree with Jill that there's always a past to explore, because I've had clients in my office, Amin, that were molested and as adolescents or earlier, and then they grow up having a same-sex attraction because there's a high energy in the sexuality.
Yeah, intensity.
And intensity in that. But we also have to remember he's 15 years old and he's very immature. And one of the things we all have to do, Amit, is figure out how to manage and handle our own sexuality, that we manage it well. And it's a lifetime journey to learn how to manage your own sexuality well, especially as a male, where we have strong male hormones, which are, if you will, pursuing hormones. They pursue, and if you will, sometimes, and sadly, quite commonly, there's predatory aspects to that. That's how strong testosterone is. So to be able to tell him, look, we all face challenges with respect to controlling and managing our sexuality. Let's just keep talking about it and really understand that we all have interests and propensities that deviate from what God's true intention is. And we always have to bring it to the cross. And we always have to learn to say yes to the right things and no to the wrong things. So it's a lifetime journey, and you are a blessed dad and a wonderful dad to want to engage in this journey with him. I love your attitude.
Yeah.
And
this is a time for trying on different personas. I understand this is a more extreme one, but they often try things on for size until they settle on who they really are.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one other headline is that attraction is not identity, which the world, the internet, social media will try to convince you. If there's some kind of attraction, then you have to go with it. It's part of who you are forever, and that isn't true. There are all sorts of folks who have had same-sex attraction and also heterosexual attraction, and you have to literally make a decision. I'm not saying
what's your lifestyle
it is
going to be?
It is all a choice when a person is gay. There's a lot that goes into that. But I'm saying there are people that would say to themselves, I am attracted to both. You have to say goodbye to one. And unless you just literally don't care about what is right. And there are a lot of things in the Bible that are very difficult to understand. But this is not something that's difficult to understand. There is truth in Scripture about what is best for a person. And it isn't a same-sex sexual relationship, but it's something that has happened for years. And having lived with family members, I have tremendous love and compassion. I am so grateful that this wasn't an issue I had to deal with. Everything has a treatment program to go to if you want to make a change, but this does not. And it takes some really, really willingness on the part of the one who struggles and some unconditional love like this father is showing right here. If you need some help, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We love you. We thank you for your support.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you. but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.